Kristen is someone from my hometown that I've trained and raced with for a long time, and somebody you would not ever want to go training with, even on their easy day or your easy day, because it will not be easy. Just a little word of advice, but those athletes definitely, they're usually racing full time in Europe, and that's what makes some of the racing in Europe so good, because it is so fast. But you sprinkle a few of them in the U.S., and it actually will change the entire dynamics of a race if that person is on form and they're riding well. So, but again, Kristen has over nine, about the same as me, 9-10 years of experience, and she knows how she can push herself and her capabilities. So VO2 max is, it depends on the experience of the cyclist. The more experience they get, watch out. When they're inexperienced, it's great. Stick them in the wind, and they only know usually how to ride at the front and away from people. But you put them near people, and not so good.
So if there are gals out there, and I know Rapunzel, you've managed to talk about getting into, I think, potentially trying to race from time to time. Wanted to get into road racing. What was the best way to start? With a time trial or a road race or a crit, or what would you suggest?
Not a crit. I would suggest a flat, moderately rolling, not so technical road race. Time trialing is also good, but you can always work on time trialing if you do have that high VO2 max. But in terms of pack skills, I would actually start with group rides. That's a great way before you step into even racing. And then, there's a couple courses that you can pick where they're not going to be super technical and smaller fields. Yep.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
I have yet to actually enter an official race other than the sprints for the city limit signs. And one of the things that I always assumed that crit was where people start out. And I'll be honest, I'm not a rich man. I saved up some money for my bike when I got it. So while I'm not scared of breaking my collarbone like I did now, I'm terrified of wrecking my bike and being out of not being able to replace it for a period of time.
Yeah, that's what happens when the sponsor information goes to your home address instead of somebody else. Yeah, the bits can get they can get up there. That's for sure. I agree. And on that note, at Sea Otter, there were some beautiful bits from wooden bikes, Laverne, and a whole bunch of other things. So let's get a little chat on that. Laverne, putting you on the spot right now. So let me put you in a little background on Laverne. She is the resident shiny object cycling geek extraordinaire in this building. If there's a new thing that can be put on a bike, she wants it. I sent her a note one time when I was here, and that I was playing with somebody's new Garmin 800, the touchscreen thing, and I could feel her insanity through the phone. She was just kind of shaking, I think, and almost went down on the floor in convulsions because she's wanted one for a while, and she saw it here, and I think she was kind of angry with me because I didn't steal it for her.
That is true.
Yeah,
and totally directed at you.
And then at the hotel we were staying, the Real Cyclist team, right?
Yes.
They're sitting there, and the
Del Rosa bikes?
Yeah, the Del Rosa, and all the Dura-Ace wheels were just sitting there in the truck, unattended. The wrench wasn't anywhere near.
It's like $30,000 worth of wheels.
Oh my God! The look on Laverne's face was like, you know what? No court of the land would convict me if I just took a little stroll inside that thing and came away with a souvenir.
That was actually why I went out with you guys last year to watch the Amgen tour. We rode up Kings on that terrible rainy day. Was hoping a bike would just fall off the team tire. Like if I stand at the top, maybe they'll throw some strategic rocks in the road and they'll just bounce a bike off the top. It's completely logical, right?
I've seen it on Versus several times, and I'm sure Liza's team.
I've seen the opposite, where a spectator will give a rider a wheel because all the wheel cars are gone.
Oh, wow.
That's one of my favorite pictures of what was it, Jens Voigt riding that tiny little yellow bike after he blew up on a descent. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not. It was fantastic, though.
No.
It looks ridiculous.
Somehow the team car got past him.
Yeah.
And didn't realize that he was down actually, and that he didn't have a bike. And it was like, if I remember right, it was a spectator's bike.
Yeah.
Just had like a little kid's bike. They handed it over to him. That's it had toe clips and everything, and that's how he caught up to his own team car, was on that little bike.
And that's allowable. That's all right.
Hey, you do whatever you can.
I think if you're Jens
Yeah.
Voigt, anything's
Yeah.
allowable.
Yeah.
What would Jens do? Jens would ride the child's bike. There you go. So you're cruising around Seattle, and you didn't find us at the peanut butter tent because you went to the wrong Sierra Nevada tent, you knucklehead.
I was there first. You went the wrong place.
What were some of the bits you saw? What were the things that were the biggest shiny objects that if Ross was to cut you a check from the Vela Reviews bank account and give you the Vela Reviews gold card, nay, black card, what would you buy?
I think I would probably have to buy a paper bike because, as I understand it, you guys aren't, rolling in the dough. But
I have a great picture of a bike to sell you.
I don't know. Jeff always emphasized that, right? Vela Reviews, not for profit. Which leads me to believe they wouldn't buy me much bike. But no, I think that Seattle this year. There's always gorgeous bikes. It's where all the manufacturers just pull out the prettiest things they've got and put them on display, and then let you ride the vaguely crappier versions of them if you really want to, which seems unfortunate to me. So you mentioned the wooden bikes. I had actually the Renovo folks, which are not actually very far from us. I did get a chance to go over and flirt with their wooden bikes, which I just think are the most gorgeous things on the face of the planet.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
And if anybody out there doesn't have an idea how gorgeous these bikes are, check out. So we've got Jamie's posted a whole bunch of photos on Vela Reviews. So go check out her photo archive. Actually, the Renovo bikes are what popped out to me the most as well, at least of the pictures you posted.
Yeah, and some of that's my lack of skill as a photographer, but they are also incredibly gorgeous bikes. And I had seen them once before at Strawberry Fields. They kind of sponsored one of the rest stops, one of the rides I mentioned that's coming up this month, or this next month. And so this was the first time I really got to see them up close and kind of put a hand on them. And, from everything they say, they're supposed to be very, very durable, very stiff, and relatively light. So, I'm sure that's the three words any bike manufacturer puts to a bike. But they had one that was ridden in by an Ironman out there for you to actually look at. And so, they're actually getting racing folks out on these bikes, which I thought was pretty awesome. And they even have a mountain bike.
Oh.
A wood mountain bike, which
Nice.
I just think is kind of amazing. So,
Was it full suspension or rigid?
you asked me like I know anything about mountain bikes.
Other than you had your first mountain bike ride at Sea Otter, I think what do you call it?
It was
A
the
12-foot.
The 12-foot circle.
Yeah. Oh,
I've
God.
now ridden a mountain bike exactly 12 feet in a circle on sand, and it was hard. They don't go very far when you push the pedals.
So, if you put down a wooden bike, what did they say anything about? You going to be wearing splinters in your chamois on the way home? How?
Well, you could have used it to put up a signal fire.
That would have worked
one
out
day
very
when
well.
You were stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you brought your lighter fluid
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something as well.
I don't know. They look like they were covered with like lacquer and shellac. Doesn't
Yeah,
that
they're-
stuff burn fantastically?
Yeah, supposedly they're pretty tough to break. They originally, as I understand it, brought a lot of these out as kind of commuter bikes. So they were originally focused, or I don't know if it was the first thing that they did, but they do have a lot focused around things that are going to hold up to rough riding, and so they would tell you, and I can't speak from experience, that they're going to hold up well. But I was actually really impressed with those, and I think they're pretty to look at, look like they'd be nice to ride.
Nice.
They didn't give me one to take home, so I won't keep going on about those. Other bikes I got a chance to take a look at, I think I have a few pictures up from the Focus tent. I think that they have possibly the most fun bikes that they sponsor. They've got the Jelly Belly team, the Vanderkitten team, and the Rafa team. Holy crap. Those are like possibly the best logos and colors and kits you could put together.
Nice.
So I spent a good amount of time geeking out in their tent. which actually, those guys get excited about. They can talk to anybody about anything. And as I mentioned to Al, it was super sunny, and I'm a ginger, and